I can almost guarantee you are working 100 times harder than you actually have to be and getting a fraction of the results. Today, I'm going to be sharing exactly what I have been gatekeeping quietly in the background of my business for the last decade, not out of malice or ill intention, just purely because it took me around 6 weeks to do this for myself every year. And now with AI, it can be streamlined. I want to take a step back and just say hello to everyone who's coming in. Welcome. I am Ahomna. For those of you who are new around here, I help people tap into their full power and create whatever the fuck they want through moving in alignment with their soul's purpose. One thing that I have been doing, for those of you who don't know my story, I have been in business for 12 years now. And for about 6 of those years, I was in a very deep, profound spiritual initiation and health crisis. At one point, I was legally blind and having seizures and really functioning at a teeny tiny little amount that I was able to be functioning at. Yet my business was consistently generating multiple 6 figures a year whilst I rested, relaxed, healed myself, and was able to invest in the healing that I needed. There was one year that I took off 9 months and had a $250,000 year in the last 3 months. And there is a method to my madness. And that method is what I call your wealth guardians. And we use these inside of astrology for a very different reason that many people are using astrology. Many people are using astrology right now for their personality and their identity, and that's fine, but that's not how astrology was meant to be used. Astrology is meant to be a geometric alignment of your path here. And each line of energy that comes through is a path, is a timeline, is an ordination that you can be aligned with. So much of what I've done in my business has been aligning with the correct timing of my offers, the correct timing of even when I post on social media, the correct timing of when I send out emails. And this is why my business has ended up being what it is, with me functioning at a very small percentage of my capacity for a good chunk of that time. I've had business coaches look at what I have achieved in my business, a multi-6-figure a year, 7-figure overall healing arts business, right? I don't teach people about business. I teach people about astrology and their power and energy healing and multidimensional trauma and things that are not typically what are generating high revenue and having incredible results. I also don't have a huge following. There's less than maybe 30 people who see my stories. I have under 1,000 people who see my content overall. I was interviewed in this group event a couple weeks ago, and I got the recap of our leaderboard. Everyone who was involved had to send out a message to our audience about the event. And I came up as number 2, meaning I was, of the 15 people, I was the top 3 link clicks. And I had one of the smaller audiences of everyone that was participating. Yet I still had more link clicks because I timed when I sent my emails. I timed when I put my social media posts out for this event to the exact astrological window in my chart when I would be most successful. This is how I time out everything. It's so important for this information to be made available to people now, because in 2026, AI is very real. It's very alive, and people are utilizing it to create. I had a friend who was posting 30 pieces of content a day for a month. I'm like, there's just no way. I have a life. That's not the kind of business that I want to be running. I have a nonprofit and I have amazing clients and I have a full life that I want to live. If you go back and look at my Instagram, I will take weeks off. In those weeks, I'm making sales because when I have posted things, I've posted them strategically when the timing was aligned for me to make money and be successful with a launch. I've done this consistently for the last 6 years of my business. When I really went all in on full astrological timing, that's when things really started to take off for me, even though I was incapacitated for several of those years. I can imagine several of you who are going to watch this have at one point said, the algorithm is just not working in my favor. Like, honey, the algorithm has never worked in my favor, and yet I still have multi-5-figure launches and multi-6-figure year and have a 7-figure brand. It doesn't matter if the algorithm isn't in your favor. It doesn't matter if a fraction of what you're told to post. When you post something, when you put a launch out there that's actually aligned for you to be successful in that timing, it will take off. Period. I know a lot of people talk about alignment and they talk about it from this notion of get aligned inside of yourself. And that's beautiful. It's important for you to be in alignment with what it is that you're offering. I can almost guess that a lot of you have multiple projects that you're involved with. Either you're already in business and you have many different avenues that you offer, many different niches or ideas and products that you've developed. And you're like, which one is going to be the one that actually, if I put a lot of effort into, is going to take off and be the thing that sticks? And then there's the other group of people who are in a transition right now into a new opportunity or a new profession or a new timeline. And you have a bunch of ideas and you're like, I'm not actually sure which one of these ideas I'm meant to be focusing on. I'm excited about all of them. We're multi-passionate, incredible human beings. And I'm not the person that's going to tell you to niche down. I'm a pioneer, which means I'm always leading humanity forward. And that means I always have new content, new healing methodologies, new concepts, and they're across a broad spectrum experience: spirituality, wealth, embodiment, activations, healing. And there's no way that I will ever just say, this is the one thing that I do, even though we can all wrap it back down to, I'm here to evolve the collective forward by bringing souls fully into their body and helping them to create what God has in store for them by getting out of the way. And everything fits into that. That being said, I know every single year which of my offers are going to take off when. And I focus my strategy throughout the year on making sure that those are the offers I'm actively putting out there. All of my success has been organic. It has been with a very small audience of people who love my work because they get results. And I didn't hire a business mentor until after I hit 7 figures overall in my business. I didn't start running ads until after that as well. I will give you a couple examples here of 2 of my most recent launches that I've timed completely to the astrology. 2 very different launches. One was my Ghost Point ceremonies, a deep, profound healing process from ancient Chinese medicine. It is a very shamanic healing process that people go through. We went through that in November of 2025. I launched it in October. I timed all of it down to the astrology of that window. I also timed when I started running ads to my astrology, because I had previously tried to start running ads and my astrology was not aligned with it and it kept flopping. I have all these issues. It just wasn't working because it wasn't aligned for me. But this was a moment that was, and I had 1,018 people sign up for my live event. Previously, I would have maybe 150 in the room. That's a huge jump in conversion there. And then from there, 25 people came into what is a higher ticket offering. And then immediately after that, I went into a very different offer, which is my holiday cash injection that I do at the end of the year because it's aligned with my solar return. These are 2 very different niches, very different offers, yet both of them were multi-5-figure launches because they were aligned with my astrology and the timing of when things were meant to come out. There's so much confusion out there, and you're like, if I just knew which one was going to take off, I could put all my focus into that. Babe, you can know that it's in your astrology, but the challenge is that it's takes years and years to learn how to do the level of, it is 5 different levels of timing techniques. And this isn't just with normal astrology and Mars, Venus, the moon. This is going into the wealth guardians, which are 58 different celestial bodies. They are stars, they are asteroids, they're comets that throughout time influence financial markets. They influence creative projects. They influence money. And we all have 13 of those 58 are active in my birth chart. You have a group of them that are active in your birth chart and that are creating your overall life with wealth. We then time our year to where they have progressed forward to this moment in time using multiple different techniques. The reality is no astrologer is doing this except for me. I'm not doing it for other people because it takes me 6 weeks to do it for myself by hand. It's very advanced, and it takes years to learn this level of skill and getting it dialed in. I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get AI to consistently, accurately create what I create for myself, because I can't keep this from people anymore. There is so much competition out there now with AI. It's going to be very hard to stand out in this world, and people are going to need to move more in alignment with what is actually your lane and your timing to see the results that you want to keep seeing in your life and in your business. AI content is here, and there's only going to be more of it. You are not going to be able to compete with the speed and the quantity that it's pumping out. It took me 2.5 weeks to get AI to consistently, this is the key. If you've ever used AI for astrology, don't do it unless you're a professional astrologer who knows when it's giving you inaccurate information, because 98% of what it gives is inaccurate information. It might start with some accuracies and then it goes and starts hallucinating. It absolutely cannot read a zodiac wheel. It will misplace things. And even in the more advanced prompting that I was creating, it was still going on these tangents and losing itself. But it took me 2 weeks of back and forth coding this AI to give consistent results. What I would do in 6 weeks, I was now able to do in 1 afternoon for the entire year. That is my strategy that I now follow in all of the containers that I take, what funnels I'm putting together. I actually know what I'm focused on that's going to move the needle forward. And I compile that across 3 different topics. The first topic is finance. And this is money coming in and out of my business, but it's also how I'm spending money throughout the year. Will show you periods where you need to be aware that more money is going to be coming in, but maybe you need to actually think about how you're spending it because you could just lose it really quickly. It also goes into investing. If it's a good time in your year to make investments, to get involved with crypto or stocks or buy land and real estate, that's all the things that finance covers. It also covers debt, income, and all the different realms of your life with financing down to the month. This is mine for the year. It's very long and in depth. Goes into core wealth theme with the year. It says expansion with caution. Jupiter is my Lord of the year, and it's a year of financial growth and learning. However, I do have some things where Jupiter and Rahu's presence can make some volatility. It goes into the information that I need to know to really be checking in with different things so that I make sure that as the wealth is coming in, I'm able to hold it and sustain it. Primary opportunities for wealth. And it says there's an opportunity to expand income streams or investments through teaching, publishing, international connections, and spiritual enterprises. Expect luck in ventures that align with specific things, partnerships, higher purpose. Another opportunity is monetizing skills or intellectual property. For those of you who know, I have multiple IPs between the Queen community and the Transplanial Healing Arts and the Money Meridian systems. Then it goes into constraints and all the things, and then the wealth stars for the year that are in my chart. the financial trends for the year. It talks about high energy, high appetite for financial change in January. Be careful about your money behavior because it can be volatile. If you spend too much, you might be speculative, and just be cautious, right? It's like being honest. This is in your chart. You could have very emotional reactions to how you're spending, and don't do that. Be wise, be discerning, be aware. It goes month by month through finance, which is really there to help people who come into the Queen community, my quantum wealth embodiment space. They're really primarily concerned with holding on to money, holding on to wealth. It really helps them understand throughout the year what that is. Then it goes into your financial capacity and your nervous system themes for the year. And I won't go into all that. Then it goes to your financial risks and patterns, undermining patterns to be aware of, and like overextension during high optimism. But that may not be a pattern for you. It might be actually a really great year for you to make some big financial investments in your business that are going to freaking take off. This is why it's so important to have it based on who you are and your astrology. We're still on wealth focused. It's 15 pages. And then we go into project execution next, which is my favorite one. This is when we get into the business and nitty gritty. I talked about people are either at one of two places. You either have a business and products and you know what they are, and maybe you have some new ideas that you want to explore, or you don't have a business and you're trying to figure out which ones are going to be the ideas that work for you. You put all of that information into the AI with your astrology, with these charts, your wealth guardian chart, and it goes through each and every idea that you have, each and every product that you have, and it tells you exactly which ones are going to be the most fruitful for you this year and at what time of the year it's going to be the most fruitful. And it goes down every month. When it gets to that point, here's the options that I put in. My YouTube channel, it tells me, is it a strategic fit? 9 out of 10 this year is fundamentally a communication year. This is the best year to actually do this. This is the year that you do it and it's going to grow. It says timing alignment, 8 out of 10, but consistency is key. The channel needs to be maintained through certain periods for optimum growth. And it says those periods are January through March. I need to really focus on putting content out January through March. And then it says, again, from July to August, I need to be really consistent with the channel's growth. There's no guesswork of when things are actually going to grow. And then it goes into all of the rest of my products. It talks about the Queen community. It talks about the timing of when are good times to open this community back up. It literally says there's optimal scaling windows for this community. Even though it is evergreen, I should put out campaigns for it in February and March. I should put out another campaign for it in July. Since it's an evergreen offer, maybe I do a live event that brings people into the community at those times of the year. It literally tells me when the best time that people are going to be open and available for this offer based on my charts and get the best results as well. It goes into the information on each of the programs down to the T. It says for my mystery school, this should not be continuously open. I was contemplating opening my 13th dimension mystery school to being consistently open throughout the year, and it's don't do that. It has very specific windows in your chart when it needs to be opened. And the best timing, I have traditionally only opened it one time a year. And I was feeling like maybe I'm going to open it and just have it forever open. That was one of the things that I put into the prompt for my astrology of this year. Is this the move? Should I open this all the time and have it evergreen? And it says, no, open it once in late spring, 2026. And then it goes into more of the influence as to why and how it should be structured, potentially a little bit different so that it can actually engage even more people. It also says that it's not one of my high priority wealth signals for this year. So I shouldn't be putting too much energy into it. It's a 5 out of 10. Whereas my advertising funnels and automation for this year is a strategic 10 out of 10. That's where I need to be focusing my energy in 2026 in the Firehorse year to be most successful. This is a level of precision that you don't get elsewhere. We go into then brand and visibility next in it. And brand and visibility is your expertise, what you talk about, the different topics that you talk about, which of those topics are going to be more open for which ones are people going to really gravitate towards. And it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to go viral, because you don't need to. I make great money with barely anyone seeing my content, because all you need to actually be doing is to be in alignment at the right moment with what is coming through. To take this a step further, you can then be in alignment with the actual message of how those wealth guardians speak in your chart. This is another layer of this wealth guardian work, where certain of those wealth guardians will show up in your communication centers, in your communication chart. I talked about Vega earlier. That's also in my third house. It's a wealth guardian in my chart because it's conjunct Venus. And Vega has a very specific style of content that she favors, and that's long form content. Regardless of what happens in the algorithms, people find my stuff, they read my stuff, they sign up for my products, they love my writing because that style of writing is actually aligned for me. And there's a lot of people talking about messaging archetypes and having you guess which ones are right for you, or take a quiz to figure out how you authentically are already sharing. But what if you aren't authentically sharing in alignment with what is making you money? And that's why you are still spinning the needle and looking for all the other things, when there's actually a way that you deliver your message and it is received by people who want to invest and work with you and be supported by you. That is a little bonus addendum I've added now that I've figured out how to get AI to do all of this for us. Glorious. With accuracy and consistency. And we're doing this in the Your Diamond year. Your Diamond year is now a annual event. This year is the year of the Firehorse, and we're going to be basing all of our month by month from February to February of the year of the Firehorse and getting the most precise strategy down to the T for where you're at, based on whether you have products or you're thinking about the products you want to have. Maybe you have investments that you want to make this year, or you're thinking about buying a property or things like that, and you want to have this timing laid out. A beautiful thing about this is that you can now start doing this consistently every year. Then I'm going to show you my secret stealth way that I time all of my posts to astrology as well, even to this moment right now when I'm doing this live. I will share with you that we have 2 days that we're doing this live, January 22nd and 23rd, and it's already open. I've given the Wealth Blueprint training that I did previously on those 58 Wealth Guardians, so that you can understand your wealth blueprint across astrology and human design as soon as you sign up and as soon as you come into your diamond year. All of this, the strategy, the month by month reports, everything that you need, so that you're never second guessing what you're putting out. You're never confused about what offer is actually going to push the needle forward in your business ever again. It works. And you don't have to compete with all of the algorithms and all of the AI. This is the year where people have to really step into I am consciously creating this reality. I have given myself a map. I know what that alignment is, and I'm going to start actively engaging the creation process and stop just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it sticks. I'd love for you to come into the Your Diamond year. I hope that you're having the most spectacular day and that you have a beautiful weekend. Much love, everyone.